Lost in Translation was a film sort of released in 2013, and it ended up achieving a box office of $120 million. It was directed by Sofia Coppola and features, the notable actors of Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. So, sort of, if you haven't seen the film before, it's a film basically about a retired actor called Bob Harris, who's sort of on the sort of like tail end of his career, and he's sort of being paid to go to Japan to promote this Suntory whiskey, where he does like a mix of commercials and photo shoots. And then the other character, or the other main character called Charlotte, who's played by Scarlett Johansson, is there with her husband, who's a photographer, but he's busy most of the time with his work, sort of leaving her on her own. Throughout the story, these characters sort of meet by chance in a bar and end up building sort of a friendship as they keep encountering each other. So Charlotte's husband leaves on sort of a multi-day work trip while they're in Japan as well, and basically Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson's characters, they sort of meet each other by chance in this bar sort of each night, and they sort of eventually become sort of friends, and we sort of see their relationship develop as their time in Japan is spent together. I'd say both characters throughout the film, they sort of feel like lost, I'd almost say. With Bob at the sort of like end of his career, he's sort of done everything, but with Charlotte, she's at the sort of the start, and she doesn't really know what she's sort of doing or what her place is. And I'd say throughout the film, they sort of end up finding solace in each other in the end, after they spend time with each other, doing like various activities. But then in the end, Bob goes back to America. So overall, the film has sort of just like this very nice, calm and serene feel when you're watching it. It's just sort of really nice, just like passing from one scene to another as you watch it. There's this great part of like Bob when he's playing golf on a basically this really great shot that sort of, it doesn't overlook Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji's in the sort of like the background, and it's this really nice long shot as he sort of like tees up the ball and then takes the golf shot. But it's one of the really great scenes that I like in the film. There's sort of just lots of them throughout it, and it's very nice to watch, I'd say. Overall, the film just does a really good job of its like camera work and sort of general cinematography, and yeah, that's one of the great elements of it. So yeah, adding on to sort of the cinematography, I'd say if there sort of hoops to jump through to make like sort of a film great or good, I'd say this one does it like quite well. Like the soundtrack's very good and complements everything you see on screen. The acting's done really well. The setting's done really well. Yeah, pretty much almost perfect. Like it's just really nice to watch. Now, sort of talking about why I think this is really good on a rewatch, because I watched this sort of a while ago when I was obviously younger. But one of the great things about it is you sort of learn stuff from like watching YouTube. So like you might have watched some of those like Japanese customs videos talking about like the sort of etiquette. And one of the things Bob does when he arrives in Japan is he collects these business cards, and basically the etiquette is you're supposed to receive them in like quite a specific way, but basically he doesn't. He sort of just grabs them from the people waiting from him. You could say this almost like an element of comedy, really, because you sort of only notice it if you know it, but it's quite kind of funny if you watch it. Like another example of this is when they're in a restaurant. Basically, Bob rubs his chopsticks together. Basically, you do that to get rid of any splinters that might be on it. I think the custom is you're not supposed to do that because you're basically insinuating that they're cheap. I mean, they are cheap, but you're not supposed to basically make the business owner that you think they're cheap. So it's quite interesting as you learn more, say, about different countries and watch different films. You may come back, or say on your first time watching, you may notice something like this. And it's almost like an extra layer of comedy, because like the camera definitely does focus on Bob's hands when he's grabbing it, so it's not really a like obvious comedy, but it's sort of there if you know it. Another thing which a bit further than learning just the customs of Japan, but let's say if you actually know Japanese, what becomes even funnier is when you watch basically the scene where he's actually promoting the whiskey, because that's when the stuff is literally lost in translation, which is very funny to watch. I recommend, like, after you see the film, if you rewatch it or watch it for the first time, is if you go and watch the scene again, but with the Japanese subtitles as well, it becomes basically even funnier. So yeah, overall, the thing that I really like about this film is if you come back to it, then you've probably learned more stuff. Basically, you notice stuff that you wouldn't have noticed before, which is very interesting. So yeah, overall, this film it's basically just a really great film. I implore you to go and rewatch it, or watch it for the first time if you haven't seen this yet. It's just very, very good. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching, drop a sub and a like, and I'll see you soon with another video.